birthday in the house, and this time it is the turn of Rowandean. And I have to say, I'm looking forward to this. I've not worked with you for such a long time, Katrina. Happy birthday.
Thank you, thank you. It's going so quickly, you know.
Doesn't it just? Yeah. Now, of course, the company, I mean, the company's been going for 32 years, and I mean, it's still as popular now as it ever has been, and it's always a joy to have you here at Hochanda.
I know, how wild is that? You know, when we first started, we thought it would probably just be a few years.
Yes.
Just a bit of a hobby. But really, it took off very early, and we've changed along the way, which is good, which is what you do. But really, we've met some fantastic people all over the world and the UK, and it's just been great. It's been really lovely.
Fabulous journey. Well, we're glad that you've chosen to celebrate it with us here, and we have got an amazing one-day special to share with you. But the beauty is, because we are celebrating the birthday, rather than you giving gifts to Katrina, she's actually giving you a gift. So if you place an order for anything during any of the live hours, then you will get a fabulous little kind of, it's almost like a mini double kit, isn't it? Something to kind of extend the usability of many of the items that we are sharing. So you'll get this fabulous little set. It's a little enhancement set. You'd normally be paying £5 for this, but it is included with any of your purchases. It doesn't have to be a one-day special, but it is limited to one per customer. So if you're placing your order during this hour, then rest assured it will be popped into your order alongside all your other goodies. So if you fancy getting hold of that, then just have a little look. But I think when you see the one-day special, you will be wanting to take advantage of that birthday gift via this. And it is a brilliant bundle. I love it. Birthday bash and cherry blossom. I love cherry blossom.
I do too. It's just
a pretty
so
flower,
spring-like and just full of life. And when you actually see the buds coming out, it's just quite uplifting, really.
They are, and they are so
that's
pretty.
The point of this project, really.
I love it. Now, you have got a bumper kit, so you've got all sorts of different elements. Lots of our favourites. So obviously you can see you've got your printed design, which is perfect on the tweed, which you can pop into a hoop if you're wanting to. The details of the hoops are at the bottom of the screen. So you've got a set of 7, 8 and 9. This particular piece is sat in the 8-inch, which is right in the middle of those. There is another set where you might want to get as well, because you've got a smaller piece within the kit. So you've got that fabulous kit. We'll go to Katrina in a moment with this, but that's the first set that you've got. Then you've got all your fabulous cards, which are always popular. So again, your tweed is printed with your base ready for you to go, but you're going to get all your threads, all your beads, all your organza, everything that we know and love from Rowandean included within this particular kit. Naturally, your card bases, and of course your envelopes, and of course everything has got its instructions as well. And then finally, you've got that fabulous mini kit here, but to be honest, there's nothing mini about this. It's absolutely beautiful. Knew they were going to go. Hey, off they all go. It's like dominoes. Now, of course, this mini kit again, I mean, Katrina, you include everything in here, bar the hoops. So, of course, if you want the hoops, it is the smaller of the hoops, which we have got available for you. Again, these ones, if you're wanting the hoops, they are in those sizes of 3-inch. No, you get 3 of the 5-inch. I do apologise. So perfect for that particular one. Now I'm going to stand back, Katrina, before I knock anything else over. So talk us around. Let's start off with that fabulous larger kit that we've just been looking at.
Well, this design is the shape of a fabulous cherry tree, and the idea is that you're going to stitch the trunk and the branches, and then you're going to fill in with masses of texture in the French knots to create that foliage. You know, when you look at cherry blossom, it's just one mass of pink, which is fabulous. So we've got really easy stitches there. We've got really French knots. We've got fabulous beads, a little bit of organza there, and I've done it quite simply that. More or less we're working on the French knots on the ends of the branches, and then you're filling in with the texture in between. But you know, you could really extend this project and make it solid. You know, you can stitch, you can just get carried away with the stitching. And then in the foreground we've got a little bit of springtime here, so you've got some organza to create that texture in the foreground. And then you're going to add a few French knots, a few fly stitches, a couple of lazy daisies. So that's quite free, that space to add as much or as little. And then I can't resist the beads as well. So we've got a few beads there to create that design. And it's sort of at this time, it's fabulous to work with colour.
Yes.
And that's what just makes you just relax and just keep stitching, because you can't stop. You've got to keep stitching.
Yeah, you do. And very, very generous kit, I have to say. You're going to get a lot of threads in here. You're always generous with those threads. So it's probably a good idea if people add in extra tweed, which we have got available for you. So at the bottom of your screen, you're going to get those fat quarters. They're going to pop up in just a few moments. So do consider adding extra of those in, because you are going to have elements left over, aren't you?
Well, that's what I was thinking, that, you know, the little bit of extra, the little bit of the gift, you know, it's hand-dyed, the felt and the calico sort of is hand-dyed as well. But I was thinking you could make quite a few things based on this theme as well. You could add into this project or new projects. So that was my feeling for that. So yeah, you can actually really go mad with the stitching.
You can, yeah, but you'll need that extra fabric. And of course, if you're adding that in, then by all means you can spread the cost of that as well, because your one-day specials on your flexi buy. So that's your first design. Don't forget to add in your frames as well. You've got your 3 frames that you can add in, with the 8-inch being the one that you can use for your one-day special design. But then you've got the cards. Now with these, we're seeing a lot more fill with these. From the last time I worked with you, the style has changed a little.
It has, and that's what happens. You get inspired by different things. So that this collection is really, it's using my favourite stitches, you know, the 5 stitches, you know, that can't resist having a French knot or a few beads. But the idea is that they're meant to be really, really easy designs, so that you can create that design really quite instantly without too much time. So we've got lovely beads there, and then the one there's a heart there as well. So
that's the one that I knocked over,
there are 5 designs that are printed with the outline on, and then this particular one, there's a space whether you want to create the heart like I've done, and there's a template in the instructions. So that one's really lovely because it's layers of organza, and then you're going to fill in that shape with French knots and texture and sparkle. So that's quite free, or you could do it totally. And, you know, you can create your own design in that 6th space. But it's easy stitches, and then the blossom. It's the blossom that's really, when it's the pink blossom, it's just fabulous. So that's created with the organza, few beads, as if you're just looking into those flowers, and a few fly stitches there, a couple of sequins. Really, really easy outline stitches. So stem, we use it to go around a shape, or the branches. So once that you've got that, it's so versatile to do.
And I think that's the key thing. Once you've actually had a go at these and you've learnt those basics, I think you're going to be applying those techniques to many other projects. I can imagine you working these into garments as well, and having clothing with that stitch detail on, creating the patching. And of course, the beauty is you've got the tweed that these are printed on to get you started. You don't have to put them onto the card bases if you don't want to. You might have your own idea. No, you did a fabulous little needle case with these kind of miniature pieces in there. That'd be beautiful.
Absolutely. And, you know, just a little gift to give, you know, make it into a fridge magnet or something, just as a thank you to somebody, if you didn't want to put it into a card. So I've got a couple of those to show over the time here.
Looking forward to it. So that is your kind of your middle segment of your one-day special, but we've not finished yet, because you've got another project, and this one is a lovely one, whether you're going to keep this one or actually gift it to somebody, because it's kind of a nice idea, a nice little kind of kit. And this is kind of a self-contained kit, just as we saw with the first frame being the larger one. So if you did want to give this as a gift, you could do. Again, it doesn't come with the hoop, but the hoops are available if you do want to get hold of those. You're going to get 3 5-inch hoops if you do decide to add these in. And of course, it could be that you're using some of those leftovers that you've got to almost make a trio of frames, especially if you are adding in some of that additional fabric, which you can get hold of. Don't forget, we have got the tweed available as well. So any of those additional elements, use those up. And again, it's just the fact that you're using 5 stitches with these, Katrina. I don't know how you do it.
I was thinking, you know, how many times have I stitched a French knot or other fly stitches? But really, they're really great way to create texture, great way to define a shape. And so really, the more designs, you never stop. You never stop creating new designs. And the beauty is you're not counting anything.
Yes,
And then you can add more.
Yes.
And that's it. You know, you can go off on your own tangent and change colours, and that's the beauty of this kind of stitching. It's creative and it's freestyle, so it's just have fun, really.
It is, and all of it, Katrina's passion really comes through with these, as it does with you guys. We are very, very busy, rapidly approaching 20% of the stock already has gone. We're not even 10 minutes into the hour. My goodness, you've been waiting for this opportunity. And don't forget, when you are placing your order for any of these items, you are going to get that additional birthday gift included within your order, but it's 1 per customer, so take advantage while you've got the opportunity. We're going to go straight into demonstration, I think, Katrina. We
Great,
want to see what you've got there.
Okay, so I've got the card kit here. So this is worked on the tweed that is woven for us and is beautiful to stitch, and it seems to suit a lot of my designs that I create. So we've got 5 designs that have a print, and then obviously the blank design there for you to create your own design. The instructions in the kit are for the one that I have done, but you know, you can create if you wish. So the first one I'm just going to show you is the cherry tree. So there are a collection of organzas in this design, so you'll get quite a few colours and layers. I just love this bronze colour, that's a new colour, so I quite like to use that. And then we've got a range of colours, so there are, you know, more or less 17 different colours there to create your design. There'll be variegated threads, there'll be some metallic threads, beautiful shaded, variegated for the tree and branches. And then I've got a couple of some tapestry wool in there in gold. So you've got lots to play with, and the beads, of course. I mean, I can't resist the beads and the sparkle. So if you just look at those, you'll get a collection of green, you'll get some pinks, you'll get some bronzes, and you'll get a whole collection to create with this design. So yeah, you've got all the bits and pieces. So the first thing is stem stitch. Now, stem stitch is something that you use to outline a shape, or you could do lettering, or you could you know, create branches with. And I'm going to show you the first stitch. So the first stitch, now I'm not putting it into my frame as yet. I'm using 2 strands to create this, and I'm just going to start by holding the fabric. Sometimes it's easier to hold the fabric in your hand and you can work the needle without it feeling awkward. So I've got the thread through the fabric to the right side, and I'm just going to take a small stitch and I'm going to bring the needle up halfway, and I'm just going to take the thread gently, and then each time I'm going to keep the thread to the top so it doesn't twist as it starts to go down the branch, and you're just going to repeat that stitch over and over. So it looks like a straight line, a curved line, rather a solid line, and you're just going to work that through, keeping your thread about halfway, and then you're just going to work over the print. And I've got a shade of blue, so the sky, you know, sometimes when the cherry blossom is out, the sky is very blue as well. So I'm just going to take that through to the back. And on the back it looks like a back stitch. So you can either start with a knot, or you can start and leave the thread and wind it in later. But either way, just fastening off just a couple of stitches just to hold that in place, and that's that complete. And you'll just take those and you'll just create the whole of that design just with straight stitch, with the stem stitch. And then the next time is to put your work into the frame. You're just going to, now that this is the spring hoop, so it's really, really useful. You place the plastic part of the hoop on the table and then just hold the spring and then just release that spring. So as you put your work in, it tightens the fabric and keeps it taut, ready for you to actually start to stitch. So this one is, the first design is really, really easy. There are 2 needles in the kit. So the first one obviously is a chenille needle. So that means, all that means is it's got a large eye and a sharp point. So that's what we tend to use when we're using wool or any of the stitches. But for the beads, we've got some bead thread, and we've also got it's a milliner's 10 straw needle, which all it is it's like a bead needle but easier to thread. All right, so all you're going to do to create this cherry tree is keep your beads, keep the beads in a little container, and then all you're going to do is you're going to scatter the beads all the way over the surface of the tree. And for this design, that's how easy it is. You're just going to add as many as you wish. And the beads, there'll be a collection of colours, a collection of sizes, so have a go and just experiment with those and just add a few of those. So you're just going to, and that's all that's going to hold the thread, the bead in place, is just by dipping in and taking the thread down. and that's
do you
all
have
that's
to
going
use a
to hold it.
particular bead at a particular point, or do you just kind of just let Karma take care of it? And
I think
choose
just go
whichever?
all over it, because you know, you can have as many or as few as you wish. I mean, you've got the front cover on in the kit to you know, to refer to, as well as the step-by-step instructions. So really, this one we're going to cover that with beads, and then as the blossom falls, you're going to add a couple more French knots and some beads at the bottom there, so as if they've all dripped off and they're lying on the ground. So I mean, that design is so easy to do, but quite dramatic with the shape of the tree. So you can just have a lot of fun with those. And then again, to fasten off those, you're just going to take one or two stitches to keep that in place.
It's amazing because this is just one project. You've actually got 8 projects in there, 6 of the cards, which obviously you can see printed onto the tweed that Katrina's working on. Then you've got your larger project that we spoke of that's in the 8-inch frame, if you're wanting to add those in as well. And then of course you've got your smaller 5-inch design, if you're wanting to add that into a frame, we've got those as well. But already a quarter of the stock has gone of this. So when you look at the price that you've got on this, and don't forget, you are going to get that fabulous little birthday bonus gift. And this is brilliant because you've got lots of elements very much in keeping with that cherry blossom style. So more of the organza there, so maybe taking the teachings of Katrina, adapting them. Maybe you've got fabrics already within your stash that you could be using as a base, and then using these for building up the layers. And of course all the elements here, some gorgeous hand dyed fabrics, including your felt and your calico, all coming together with a really generous pack of beads there. You'd normally be paying a £5 for these, and if you are wanting to get hold of anything that we've got featuring on the show, this will automatically come to you within your order. It's 1 per customer, so if you place your order nice and early, you're going to be right in the front of the queue with regards to those. But so of course the one day special is the way that most of you are getting hold of those, and that is a case because a quarter of the stock has gone already, my goodness. Lots of you adding other things in, which we will share with you as the hour progresses, so if you do want to jump ahead and have a look on the website, you can do. But the details are up on your screen with regards to the one day special. Everybody's loving it, so
That's lovely.
So what do we need to know next?
I'm going to have a look at the cherry blossom, but before that, I just thought I'd show you this. Now this is what you could do with your little free gift. So these are the beads and some of the fabrics that are in there, and then all the threads I've used are from the one day special on both of the projects. So all I've done is taken we'll show you over the course of the show is how to fold the fabric, the hand dyed felt, but all I've got is a little tiny magnet inside,
and
that can rest on your frame if you know, just to put your needle down, or if you can, it'll go on the fridge as a little gift. But it's a nice way of just spending, I don't know, half an hour making this. It won't take long to do that, but it's the magnets that will live it on our fridge. I get quite a few of my designs, but really it's probably to keep all your needles and things safe as you're working, and your scissors. But I just thought that's all with the free gift.
I love it. Now we did used to have the magnets used to be part of a little accessory bundle. Do we still have that available?
So you can get the pebble, then you can get the magnets. And the other thing I've forgotten is in it.
And the thing is, it's lovely because it's a long time since I've worked with Katrina, but it's those favourites, those elements that you need that are still within that kit. So the fabulous little chenille needle that we've been talking about. You've got your little pebble there with your different needles in there. Your flower head pins, which are perfect for putting your organza in place. And then, of course, you've got the magnets there. So if you are wanting to make your kind of needle keeper with your project, then you can do. Do suggest you add that in, and do consider going for the working hoop set as well that Katrina's been working with, that fabulous little spring one, because it's always a popular item to add into your basket as well.
It is, it's useful. And I just thought that's quite nice, just as an idea to work and create something that goes with your stitching. So I've got lots of these, so, you know, just make it to the colour scheme.
Love it.
Okay, so first, then I'm going to move on to the next one. So this is the cherry blossom. So for this one, to create the leaves, you'll have a collection of organzas in there, and so the organza, it's a woven fabric, all right, but we're going to just cut it at the moment. We're just going to cut it into slithers, and just this is going to be the foliage. So you'll place the foliage over the print, and then you can pin that in place, and just to create the idea that there is foliage there. Just a couple of pins to secure that. And I've done my stem stitch, so that's the same stitch as we've just previously done. And then once you've got a little bit of colour on there, there are some printed dots to create the cherry blossom. So French knot, so I've got 6 strands here. So I'm going to bring the thread up from the back. And then I'm just going to take the thread, and I'm just going to hold the thread fairly taut. And then you're going to take the thread and wind it around once, twice, and then just turn the needle. You're not going to go into exactly the same hole, almost like one thread over. And as you do that, you're just going to tighten the thread, and that keeps it twizzled around the needle. So when you let go, you'll get a really, really nice shape. And that's going to be
just... Oh, look at that. It's almost like a bead
like
in its
rose,
right.
isn't
it?
Really, really nice.
Beautiful.
So that, I mean, it's 6 strands there, so that's quite heavy stitching. But if you want the stitch to be smaller, just go round once, and that'll give you a smaller knot with fastening off there, and it'll just travel in on its own. So you're going to create, because they're almost in like great clusters of small flowers that look like one giant flower. So that's going to be worked over the top, and eventually all your organza will hold in place. And then obviously you'll add other colours in there. But it's such a great stitch to do, and it's just irresistible to look at. It's a very tactile stitch.
Beautiful, and such a pretty
instantly
pink.
You're getting that effect of the blossom.
I love it because, of course, the organza is being held in place each time you put those little stitches in there. But they're not like a utility stitch to keep the organza in place. It's a decorative stitch, and it kind of does 2 jobs at the same time. It's a brilliant kit. We're going to leave Katrina alone just for a few moments while I show you the fabulous deal that she's been bringing to us with the One Day Special. We're celebrating Rowandean's 32nd birthday. And it's a fabulous celebration because not only are you going to get an amazing One Day Special, you're getting an additional gift. So you've got the £6 saving, as you can see on your screen. Your additional gift, which to be honest is for anything that you're placing an order for, but the majority of you are going for orders with the One Day Special, so this is going to come alongside it. And you can see the colours are perfectly in keeping with that cherry blossom theme that we've been talking about with the One Day Special. Now, of course, your One Day Special starts off with that beautiful larger piece of artwork. Katrina's chosen to demonstrate, or should I say present it, in one of the hoops that we've got. But of course, the beauty is you've got a lot of that fabric around that design, so if you wanted to put it into your own frame to keep your home decor theme going, then you can do that quite easily. A clever little technique if you wanted to extend the size of that, perhaps put a mount around it and then get a larger frame and really make a statement piece of this. But it doesn't have to be a piece of artwork to go on your wall. It could be something that maybe sits in the centre of a cushion, not one of those cushions that you actually use, you know, one of those ones that goes on that special chair in the corner that looks absolutely amazing. And of course, as always, Katrina is very, very generous with regards to the contents of those kits, so you'll have lots of elements left over, but you will see all of your fabrics are carded, so not your fabrics, your threads are carded, all ready for you to work with, all itemised, so when you do get the instructions, you do start working with the instructions, then you know exactly which thread you need at which point. Do suggest you add in some of that additional tweed. I know lots of you are taking advantage of that. It's always a popular item, and also one of those fabulous little play around packs as well. They're always popular, and they are proving to be popular again. But then you've got your cards. Now I say cards because the cards are included, as are the envelopes, but of course the tweed is printed with 6 beautiful designs. They're kind of gorgeous little miniatures, which could be miniatures pieces of art, which again you could be using in a practical sense. We spoke of needle keepers, and of course things like little needle cases, maybe purses, maybe miniature little frameworks again. I mean, you could imagine creating all 6 of these, putting them into little mini frames and having them almost as a kind of little collage on a wall with all those beautiful designs in them. Again, incredibly generous with regards to the contents, lots of beads, lots of threads in there, and of course the tuition and the inspiration that you can then take on and kind of do your own freehand, your own kind of style from these, which I know Katrina would love you to do, because what she likes to do is see you kind of develop and grow and blossom with regards to your embroidery. But then we've got another beautiful design with this one, and this one again, a gorgeous, pretty little design. This time it's printed on a different style of fabric, as you can see, so you've kind of got your linen fabric with regards to this one. But again, you've got your kind of bare branches, your bare elements that you're going to add to with regards to these. And again, it's another one that you may choose to pop in one of those little 5-inch frames, which we have got available for you. But again, you might want to use your own frame with that. It is a little kit all of its own right, as is the larger kit that we spoke of, and then all the cards come together in a kit. So you could separate them up if you wanted to, but to be honest, you might be thinking that when you're placing your order, but when you receive them, you're not going to want to part with any of them. 487-418 if you fancy taking advantage, £43.85. 2 flexi buys on this one. We are very busy for this one, not only in the UK, but we've got international viewers watching as well, so it's good to have your company. Now, I did tell you that we've got lots of other things to share with you, so I'm going to take a few moments to show you some of those. So maybe you want something that's not necessarily on that pink theme, or you're wanting to extend your range of colours. Well, this is a beautiful one, as you can see there, the pink campion, £14.95. Again, a comprehensive kit. Now, this one comes with your fabric again, but it doesn't come with the mount and the frame. It's personal preference on how you are wanting to work with this. Of course, you could take inspiration from that, but can I just show you the fabric? Because the fabric that you get, it's a huge piece of fabric. Obviously, your design is printed on the centre of there, but have a look at that. If you are clever with that frame and that mount that you're adding to that, you could really make that into a substantial piece of art very, very cleverly and very quickly as well. Yeah, again, the inspiration is there from the artwork, and the campions, I mean, such a pretty little flower again.
You know, at the edge of the roadside, it springs out at you, and it's just lovely when we've had a winter, and now we're getting all those
starting
summer
to see all those gorgeous colours come through. Again, you've got everything you need in there, your organza, your gorgeous threads, including some metallics there, and of course lots of inspiration from Katina included within that one. You would be getting your birthday gift with that one, so if you've not gone for your one-day special, then it will be included with this one, because that's the beauty. Any of these items we're sharing with you, you are going to get that birthday bonus, but only one of them, just to make it fair. Next one that we've got for you, this is a lovely one, because this is almost like a little scene. As you can see here, you've got the fabulous little fence there, and this is your roadside foxgloves. Oh gosh, that's a bit of a tongue twister, isn't it? What a beautiful design.
Oh, I think it's such a great plant, and it's quite dramatic, whether it's in the roadside or in your garden. I just love them. But they're just like tall spires in amongst the grasses. So really good. So again, it's really easy stitching, some straight stitching, a couple of French knots, but really it's straight stitch in different directions with lots of colour. So it's easy. And when we were thinking about coming here, one of our customers has stitched one of these, and she's in the States, and it was absolutely, she just got carried away with the whole piece. And it was just 3 times the size of that, and it was just absolutely fabulous. So you will get lots of colours to add if you want to add to your design and get carried away.
I love that. So if you fancy getting hold of that one, just £10.95, 532845 if you fancy getting hold of it. Next one that we've got, the beautiful roses. I mean, look at this one. And I think this is a lovely accompaniment to work alongside the cherry blossom, because of course you've got the tree featuring within the cherry blossom kit. Then this might be a nice one. Again, you could add this one in and use it almost like a little collection of designs. And again, lots of French knots going on with this one. And kind of like a filler stitch with this one as well.
Yeah, I mean, that rose is there, and the leaves are just created with straight stitch, and that, you know, that's the basis of the designs, really, is straight stitch with a little bit of texture. So, you know, very easy to do, and I like working with different textures. So that's a woolen yarn, which just gives it a different look to the shiny threads.
Love it. Now, are we seeing a different colour fabric with regards to this? Well, I've kind of got that bluey hue.
Yeah, we put in. Well, I've done it in several different ways where I haven't used any of the blue sky, but I've included the blue organza just to give a different sheen and a different look. So you'll get the blue and the greys, the greens at the bottom there.
So that's clever. So it comes on the tweed, but then you kind of use that blue overlay over the whole of the design before you start.
So you could do whichever appeals to you, really.
I like that idea. Another variation, isn't it? And very, very effective as well. So £10.95, 757236 if you're wanting that one. Now, the next one, this is a lovely one, and you are getting a hoop included with this one. So you've got a display hoop there, and it is a really pretty design. Have a look at this one. Gorgeous. I love the peachy tones with this one.
I do too.
Isn't that gorgeous?
I think just the variegated threads, the magic just happens as you stitch,
yes,
you know.
Yeah. Absolutely gorgeous. Loads and loads of those French knots. And of course, because as Katrina said there, you've got your variegated thread, so it naturally finds its own flow with regards to this one. And that's the beauty. You could give this to loads of different people, and the way that those threads perform as you lay them down, you would get different results. Really pretty one. It comes with the hoop as well, so it's a perfect one to give as a gift to somebody, because then they've got something that they can actually display it in as well. But it doesn't have to go in the hoop if you don't want it to. It's your kit. You can decide. So 453-945 if you fancy getting hold of that one. Very affordable considering you've got the hoop in there as well. And of course, there's nothing stopping you adding different elements from any of those other kits. Taking inspiration from the design, and then away you go. Talking about inspiration, this is a signature style, and you could see this. If this was in a frame, straight away I would know it's a Rowandean kit. Is that tumbling out of the design? I love the way that you do this, Katrina.
I think that's what it is. It is a signature sign of our designs. So it's a worked on organza. So a little bit of the design just falls off that picture and then just takes you into the river Derwent there. You know, that's part of doing that. So it's a separate piece of stitching on the organza, and then you glue that to the mount afterwards. And the mount's in the kit as well, not the moulding of the picture, but the mount there, so you can use it with the green line or plain cream on the back.
Very clever. And how you capture the movement of the water using thread, I think it's just astounding how you do it. Now, of course, as Katrina said, with regards to this one, you've got all of the elements. So you've got your fabric to allow you to tumble out of the frame. But you included within this particular set, you have got the frame on this occasion, where you can see there, obviously you've got that included, but you haven't got your outside frame, because again, that's personal choice. Depends on your colour tone of your room. But then you've got your design not only printed on your fabulous linen, but also on your organza there. And of course, that's the piece that you can see there, literally tumbling out of the design onto the mount. Absolutely beautiful. £12.95. And it might be a different way of you stitching. Maybe you've invested in one of the kits previously. Maybe you've had a go with the cards and you fancy kind of progressing and trying something a little bit different. Then that is definitely the kit for you. 768-441 if you're wanting to get hold of these. Now, I love this one. It's brilliant. Perfect for your Easter theme, but to be honest, any time of year. This is your bunnies in the garden. What a riot of colour. I love this.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. You know, I think you just get carried away. There are some really bright colours in here, and there's in the kit lots of bunnies, so you could use the bunnies for other things as well. We can have blue bunnies, pink bunnies, whatever you like.
I love it, yeah.
But
and
I think it's quite fun.
Yeah, and I think it's a nice one if you've got maybe a young stitcher or you're encouraging somebody to have a little go with this one. You've got that fun element with it. And again, plenty of time for this to be received and stitched out, maybe for a Mother's Day gift for somebody. Yeah, could be something that you're going to create, and I love it. Comes again on the tweed there, so you've got a generous piece of your tweed there. You may choose to pop it into a frame just as Katrina's done, but that's entirely up to you. 167550. Then we have got the play around packs. These ones are always popular. Lots of you stock up on these, and I have to say, these are so generous. Now, you've got cotton or tweed, and that's kind of relating to the actual fabric that you've got within here. So this one, you've got your two pieces of fabric, as you can see there. Oops, there you go. Two pieces there. So that one is your cotton, because you've got both of those there. Beautifully soft and very sturdy as well.
Yes, it's the one we use for all our kits. So it means that you can use very fine threads, or it'll take heavy threads as well.
Lovely. And then, of course, oh my goodness, you are in for a treat when you get this home. You are getting all of this. Now, these, I don't know how you managed to do it for the price that you bring these to us. Phenomenal value for money. You even got your needles, you've got your beads in there as well. All the different types of threads in here. And also some kind of woolly threads in these too.
Yeah, so there's some will be knitting yarns, some will be Appin's crewel wool yarns. Just a lot of textures, really.
I love it. So contents may vary with regards to these, but keeping them, I'm presuming, as close as we can to what we've got here.
Yeah, some will be slightly different. You'll get wools, and you'll get a collection of lighter pinks, and you'll get a collection of the darker purples and things. So it'll be a mix. It'll be a mix, but
on that kind of theme. Yeah. So lots of purples and pinks there. Absolutely beautiful. So there you go. If you're wanting to get hold of that one, you've got your choice. Obviously, it's purple and pink, and then it's your choice with regards to your actual bases with regards to those. So there you go. Or you can go for both of them if you wanted to. Again, you would get your birthday bonus gift if you were going for that one. Now the next one, now if you wanted to kind of move away from the pink, or maybe you want to stock up on the additional colours, then this is a lovely one. Now this one, if you're going for this particular one, you can see it's slightly different in its makeup because you've got your cotton, but you've also got a piece of the tweed as well. So again, this might be a nice way, maybe you've worked with the tweed previously and it's kind of a safe place, you feel comfortable working with that, but you fancy a little bit of kind of exploration using one of the other fabrics, then this is the perfect one to go for. But again, what a fabulous collection of colours. Very much your blues, your greens, your yellows featuring in this one. To be honest, if you can stretch to both of those, you have got so much that you're going to be able to work with. But the details on your screen there, if you do want to go for your spring play around pack, always popular. Again, this hour they're popular as always. So 519571. So there's lots and lots that you can take advantage of, some fabulous kits, but of course your display of these is key. So if you want to go for your 5-inch hoops, you're going to get 3 of these, as you can see, £12.95. They are hardwood, but of course you can change the colour of those if you're wanting to, but they are just beautiful for you to display your pieces in. So 580048. Now some of your pieces will be on a little larger scale, so we've got a little trio. These ones, you've got 3 different sizes, your 7-inch, your 8-inch and your 9-inch. Again, use them as display hoops and they're going to look fabulous. I love the little kind of hook that you've got, so perfect for you to hang wherever you so choose. 047368 if you are wanting those. And then of course you need to be working with your project. Now it's best for you to actually use the worker hoops rather than the wooden hoops that we've just looked at, because you haven't got the tension on your fabric. You have got tension, but it's not too much tension, if that makes sense, because the wooden hoops, you kind of pop them into place, but you haven't got the flexibility with these, and you don't want to leave any marks in your fabrics as you're working. 2 sizes, 5-inch and 7-inch, and you're going to get your fabulous scissors with these at £15.99, 646-785. So we're going to go back to the one-day special. What are we up to this time, Katrina?
We're just going to have a look at the cherry tree.
Lovely.
So I've got the design, and then this is the 8-inch hoop, display hoop. So it's, you know, if you're just looking at that design, you're going to create part of the design at the base, making it really, really colourful. And then this, you can really, really, it'll sing with all the different colours. So for here, on this design, I've tangled them up a bit, but there are 18 colours in this design. So we've got a collection and shades of brown thread just to create the branches and the trunk, and then we've got a mixture of colours, so there are loads of different shades of pink there, a little bit for the springtime and then a little bit for the foliage, so you've got a lot of colour there to play with. And then the first thing really that you're going to be doing, that's just a display, so I would use the 7-inch hoop to actually stitch your design, and you can work either the foreground, or you can start with the cherry blossom. But
was I right in what I was saying about the display hoops, that they're not designed for you to work with?
They don't have any. They don't have.
There's no tension on those.
You can't tighten it in any way, so you can place it over and stretch it to display. But you can't. If you try to stitch with it, it just falls through the fabric. So it's not the same as the ones that you have to.
Okay.
So I've got my organza here. So this is included in the kit. So this is just to create a little bit of the foliage. So you're going to cut it on the bias, so that's the stretchy part of the fabric. All right, so you're just going to take a little slither of that, and then you're going to be a little bit mean to it. So you're going to fray it. It sort of won't fray if you just pull it. You've really got to distort the fabric and just work that several layers, and then you're going to pin it over. There are some printed, very lightly printed lines at the base there, and you're just going to add some texture and then pin that on, and just as many layers as you wish. And that's why if you've got your display hoop, you know, you can work out the size, but the lines do go more or less to the base of the display hoop.
And we had an email in from Janice, one saying happy birthday to you, but also asking about the display hoop for this one, so thank you for that.
Well, yeah, I think, well, that, you know, when you've finished a design, you just want to hang it on the wall or want to use it, so I think they're perfect. You know, you can put them in groups, you can hang them in the window, you know, there's lots of things you can do with them. So I think those are really good for this design. So that's, you're going to put the organza on, and I've just done a temporary stitch just to hold that in place, so that sometime I might work on the foreground and then sometimes I might work on the tree, the foliage. All right, so I'm just going to put the work in. So it's exactly the same as the other one. You're just going to put the work over on a flat surface, and then just take the spring, and then you're just going to place that in and just release the spring, and that's going to just create your design. Now if you find that it might spring out, which is very rare, you just hold the spring and just change that, and it'll go back into shape, and it'll hold that quickly.
If you're stepping away from your work, because I mean, obviously you're going to enjoy this, you're not necessarily going to be doing it all in one sitting. So do you leave your work within the hoop, or do you take it out of the hoop to rest?
I mean, for a day, it's not going to. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't distort the weave, you know, when it's in there. But you know, I think if you're not going to do it for a year or whatever, then probably take it out the frame. But you know, it's not going to harm it, and it's going to, you know, it's quite portable, this, so you can take it lots of places. So.
Fabulous, thank you.
Okay, so I'm just going to show you a couple of things.
Wonderful. So it's so easy. Give you a bit of a time check as well, Katrina. We've got about 15 minutes left.
Okay, well, I've got loads to show everybody here. This time disappears.
I love it. We've got 5 hours.
I know.
I'm looking forward to the one day special
hours. So the stem stitches is what we've already done just earlier, but I'll just do another couple so that you can actually see. And this time we're only going to add the French knots in clusters at the ends of the branches of the tree, and so you're just going to work the same thing as we did before. And so the French knots, you know, it's one of those things that once you can do them, you never stop doing them. And then you mention it to some people and they find, oh, they're really hard, but they're definitely not hard to do. Really, really easy. On a surface in a hoop's easier. So you're just going to go around once, twice, and straight through to the other side of the fabric. And just by holding that there, the thread is not going to untwist unless you want it to. So you could actually do some of these. You can change the stitch. You can this time go around twice, but instead of leaving the thread tight around the needle, you can make it quite loopy. All right, so you can make a much bigger knot, and you can add some of those quite easily. It's not one that's gone wrong. All right, so you master a French knot, and then you can make them all loopy, and you can change the texture there.
Fabulous.
And it'll grow really, really quickly. And then the next thing, once you've done a few of those, you can add some texture in there with the organza. So I'll just leave that there. So you're going to build up all the way over, and it's very quick. I know it's quite a large piece of work, but really, once you start, you just can't stop stitching. So I've got a little bit of organza here, so I'm just going to cut about 1 centimetre width, the length of the fabric, all the way across, and then I'm going to use one strand, and I'm just going to do a running stitch all the way over. I've got a knot. I'm going to go all the way down the middle of the fabric in a running stitch, so I'm just going to go all the way to the
Those
end.
cues are back on the phone lines, folks. So if you are placing your order on the phone, please bear with us. We will get your order on the system as soon as we possibly can. We are incredibly busy. Lots of you loving not only the one-day special, but all of those other fabulous goodies that Katrina always brings to us. But a third of the stock of the one-day special has gone. So if that's something you are thinking about, you best know that. But yeah, at the moment we're okay. But if we carry on at the rate that we are going, we will be getting very worried overnight.
Okay, so once you've gone the length of the fabric, then you're just going to pull the thread, and it'll just twist itself into the rose shape, and then just squash all those folds between your fingers. Just make sure you have a knot, because it's disappointing when it all comes out. So you just go a couple of stitches, and you're just going to hold those folds in place. And I'm just using one strand. So when you're looking at the kit, there's stranded cotton, and it's made of sort of 6 strands. And so you can either take one of those out or use another thread if you wish. So that becomes my couple of more stitches there, just to hold it in place. And then you're going to take that, and you're just going to add it to somewhere on your picture. And you're just going to start building up a little bit of texture.
Like little fluffy pom-poms almost, don't
they look really, really lovely. And obviously you can change the colours and add the colours there. And so this is a really, really easy design. There's not really very many stitches to work in there. And then you're just going to fasten that off later. And then when I show you all the colours, you've also got lots of sequins and little flower shapes and beads. And there's some really pearl beads that are in there as well. And it'll build up very, very quickly. And for those, you're just going to put them in between the branches. So lots of French knots around the top, and then you can fill in with the texture. And that, I mean, that's really, really quick to do. It's going to have a lot of impact on the design. I'm just going to...
I love that. I love that pop of colour there. You kind of got the delicacy of the little beads and the little French knots there, and then that pow with that organza. Absolutely beautiful. But it's delicate at the same time because that's the nature of organza.
Yeah, and I think this is, if you like more stitching, you could do some lazy daisies in there. You could just, you know, if you don't want to use as much sparkle, you could have it all stitched. You know, so that's really quite nice. You can choose how you want the design to go as it goes through the design. So I'm just going to take that to the bottom there.
Wonderful. Now, can I very quickly show you those hoops that Katrina's been working with? They're proving to be very popular during this hour, so perhaps we've got lots of newcomers to Rowandean. If you are a newcomer, wow, you've chose a good time to get involved, because if you're placing your order for these goodies, and this is the first time that you've ordered, then you are going to get that fabulous benefit of that birthday bonus, because everybody placing an order during the Rowandean shows will get one of those birthday bonuses. But if you're after this particular kit, then what was that? Rapidly approaching half the stock has gone. My goodness, it has been popular. 464785. It really does give you the ability to get the right results. There are certain areas where you may want to just kind of do your embroidery and just hold the fabric in your hand, but sometimes it's much easier to actually have almost like an extra pair of hands, isn't it, holding the tension on there, as Katrina's shown us. A very popular item. Details are on your screen there.
Okay, I'm just going to show a couple of other stitches. So in the foreground here, we've got lazy daisies. Now these are individual lazy daisies as well as a fly stitch. So I'm just going to show you one of these. All right, so this is something that is really, really easy to work. So this time you're going to place the needle into the same place, and then you're going to tilt the needle and bring it back onto the surface, and then just put the needle, the thread under the needle, and then as you pull that, you've got a nice little loop there. And then the stem, you can make the stem very short, or you can make it almost like a tulip shape and just make that much longer.
I love that variegated thread as it travels through it. It's like a magic thread.
It's just lovely to work with. So, but you must go back into the same place to create this, and then you can keep it in your frame, or you could take it out, whichever's easiest. So you're going to create a foliage with that. And that's one really, really great stitch. And then the other one is a fly stitch. So a fly stitch is worked the same approach, except this time you bring the needle opposite, and then you place that through the fabric, and then just tilt the needle back onto the surface in the middle, in between the 2 points.
Okay, yeah.
And then underneath the needle, and then each time, so that forms almost like a Y.
Yes, yeah.
So that's great for plants. And then you can add as many or as few of those as you wish. That's it, what's it caught around the needle. So that's another stitch that's really quite nice to work.
And you're so right, I mean, it builds up so quickly. I mean, there's 3 little stitches that you did there, the 2 little lazy daisies, and obviously your stem stitch there. Not your stem stitch, your fly stitch, sorry. But straight away you've covered a good area with regards to that.
It's very quick. And then of course you've got some beads that you can scatter in for little primroses in amongst the foliage. And so really, what are they, you know, 3 stitches, 4 stitches, and you'll be able to create this design, and
beautiful.
Then really, really quickly.
That looks adorable. I love it. Now, something we are busy for as well, and this is a very generous fat quarter. Look at the size of that. Now, this obviously is the tweed. So you see the tweed appearing in many of the kits, including your one-day special. This gives you the ability to replicate those designs over and over again. So if you are going for the one-day special, you will find well, anything, to be honest, you will get some extra elements there. You'll have threads left over, you'll have beads left over, and then of course it's having the fabric there ready for you to actually build up. But over half the stock has gone of the fat quarter. It's always a very, very popular item. And of course the beauty is you could transfer the designs over that you've seen obviously within your kits, because not only are they printed on the kits, but you also have them on the kind of the packaging, the instructions, so you can kind of replicate that if you wanted to.
Absolutely, I think, and you've always got that front cover to work to. But I think the fat, I think the fat quarters are really good. You know, you could, I've got here just some of the bits out of the free little
birthday bonus
gift, and then I've just taken some of the elements and some of the threads, and I've made like a little bit of a fridge magic, and using those and added some beads. But the backing fabric, you know, you need if you've got a fat quarter, you can do all those little projects, or perhaps make it as a hanging gift and put herbs and spices in there.
So if you're working with the tweed, do you draw a design on there?
Yeah, you can just draw that on with a pencil.
Okay,
or you don't
so
need
anything, any fancy fabric
you could use
pen
a
or
biro,
anything.
but if you've got a fabric pen, you could use that. But really, it's not.
Or you can kind of doodle with your stitches and just go free rein.
Take them a walk, you know, and just go over the fabric. Like for the play around pack, that's great. You can just look at the different elements in different kits and just have a go.
And I think we've had a fabulous suggestion from Molly, who's our floor manager today, stamping your design on there, because of course we've all got a wealth of those stamps, and you have got such a lot here. I mean, this is brilliant. Whether you are looking at doing a larger project, even like a cushion cover, you could be creating with that, couldn't you, if you wanted to? A couple of cushion covers. I mean, £12.99, brilliant value for money. And again, it's always a very, very popular one. If you're wanting more of the tweed, don't forget those fabulous play around packs. You've got your tweed and your cotton featuring in there, and of course you're going to have your fabulous little almost like play around pack that's coming as your birthday bonus in with your one day special, or anything on the show, to be honest, as well. But of course the one day special is the star of the hour. We've got about 4 minutes left, Katrina, so I'm going to come back to you in just a few moments, but the details on your screen for your one day special. You've got 8 projects in total. The larger cherry blossom tree that we just saw Katrina working with, and she'll continue to work with that throughout the one day special shows. She started off with those fabulous cards, so again the cards and the bases, and of course you've got that smaller project in here as well. But please be aware that 40% of the stock of the one day special has gone in the initial hour. You've been waiting for this one day special. It's a 30-second birthday celebration. I'm glad that you're celebrating alongside us. Katrina, we're going to come back to you for the last few minutes of the hour.
Okay, well, I've just got the one for the bunnies here. This is a little Easter design, or cottage, almost just like a cottage garden. So there is a print on the fabric, but basically there are some great printed lines there, and that's going to give you the starting point for the size of the stitch. So, you know, you're just going to stitch over the printed line just with the straight stitch, and that gives you the guide as to the size of the stitch to do. And you're just going to work really bands of colour over the print, and it's just going to really think messy, think higgledy-piggledy stitching. It's just going to, let's move that bunny out the way, and then you're just going to go over the design just with straight stitches, which is really quite relaxing to do.
And you've got all those bunnies now. If you've got another project that you're thinking of using the bunnies in, then of course you could use those on something else or include them in this project. And again, a really generous bundle that you've got within this one again, Katrina.
Yeah, I mean, the colours, the idea is really you're going to stitch grasses in at the top area and along the line here, and then you're going to fill in with the flowers and the colours. So the colours of this are just fantastic. So you've got purples and pinks, you've got variegated threads, you've got some lemon colours, and then of course you've got orange for the carrots at the front.
Oh, it's got to be
so
carrots.
we've got to have a little carrots in the garden there. So, you know, any kind of straight stitching you can add and have a little bit of fun with that, especially if you're doing that with a younger person who would just love putting all the carrots on. So it's just a little tiny straight stitch and just 2 stitches, and that's it.
Fabulous, I love it. Now I've got the finished article here, and I love this because I didn't notice before when I was showing you earlier on, but look at their little tails. They've got little French knots on their tails to give them fluffy tails. Absolutely adorable. And again, a right colour, all those gorgeous colours, the organza again in here, all of those elements that we know and that we see from a Rowandean kit included within here. And of course, the fabulous, I love the idea of the little carrots being created down at the bottom there as well. Another comprehensive kit, another brilliant value for money bundle. And again, a very generous bundle as well. So you'll have lots of elements left over. So make sure you are adding in more of that fabulous tweed fabric, or going for one of those kits that we've been chatting about where you've got the play around pack as as well. Yeah, Katrina, again, everybody's loving the one-day special, which it really fills my heart with joy because I love cherry blossom. It's such a pretty flower. And I have to say, you've almost got like a cherry blossom in your blouse.
Yes, I know. Well, that's what it was supposed to be.
I love it. Now, of course, we're going to see more from the one-day special at 8 o'clock. Katrina's going to be back with Yanis. But if you're wanting to get hold of this, because we've been so busy during this hour, I would suggest you get hold of it straight after the show. Lots of you are thinking exactly the same. And as we regularly find, the last few moments of the hour do become very, very busy. Yeah, we're probably going to have some strong updates when we come back to you at 8 o'clock. But what I can tell you at the moment is we do have it available for you. And you've got your fabulous 8 projects, your 6 cards, your larger design, as we saw, that will fit into your 8-inch hoop, and of course your smaller design, 5 inches, all separate packages as well. So if you do want to separate them up, you can do. Katrina, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the birthday celebration, bringing it to us as well. And thank you guys as well. Lots of you got involved, and I've been wishing happy birthday to Katrina and Rowandean. So do stay tuned. We've got more coming up. After the break, I'm going to be tasting a bit of honey.